What's up, y'all? So this is just really going to be a chill hangout stream, and we're just going to chat, do some 3D. I'll show you some stuff that I worked on, and maybe we can always switch over to Nomad if people want some Nomad. But anyway, this is so I finally made my logo in 3D. It's not that great because I can't figure out how to. Okay, so it looks pretty good. Like, it looks good. It looks passable. But when you come in close, you can see that, it's not like as smooth as I would have wanted it to be. If I switch over to this, if I switch over, you can see that it's still like quite blocky. It's not really smooth. And I actually don't know how to make it smooth. So where are we at? 1 minute. So I'll do an hour or so. But it looks pretty good. It's passable. And I think, so something like this, I'll do a new screen, a new little intro screen. It's time. What's up, Maxwell? I don't know why, but I felt Blender to be so difficult, especially since I started using Nomad. 100% I agree with you. Blender is very difficult. There's just way too much. So when you jump into Blender, it's like you're jumping into one of those like rivers that's going like 60, 70 miles an hour. And it's really hard to get a grasp on anything that you have to do or like where to start or how to even breathe. That's just kind of how it is. So that's why I created that class on Skillshare, which is just like a beginner's super bare bones, like starting from, kind of, I guess it's just like what I would have wanted to know when I was like starting in Blender, like even how to set up the computer so that it works all right, because Blender is a very intelligent application and in the fact that you can do so many things with it and it's pretty amazing. But it's also just really like dumb. It's like a smartphone and a dumb phone. So with like Blender, you have to do every single thing or else like something like won't work. Like even like things that are like, why don't they just have it do this like by default? Because like it just makes sense, but it's like, no, you have to go through 10 steps to get to that thing. That's why Nomad is fun. So for something like this, I kind of want to make like do like a little animation. So essentially, here's the timeline down here, and that's usually what I use for animation. I just use keyframes. It's kind of the easiest thing to do. So for now, I'm just gonna keyframe everything where it is now because that's a good spot. So I'm gonna go to this transform. So each of these items, like any item, will have its position. So those numbers will change depending on what it is. So I'm just gonna set a keyframe so everything stays where it is. I'll do all of them actually. I'm going to do this. So I just need to set all these little pieces because when I do an animation, I'm going to change it. And I hate, sometimes I accidentally, I don't set the beginning and then I have to find it again and I'm annoyed. I thought I already did that. Oh, that's the background. Okay, so I just want to get everything how I like it. Let's see. So I am going to be pausing a lot to try to keep up with the chat, which is one of the fun parts of doing lives and why I want to do more lives. And actually, I like that I can do clips now and cut clips and make them videos. That's actually how my other video, the one about Blender coming to desktop, I'm surprised it did so well. But so I'm going to try to utilize clips too, since I've been slacking. Since life has been life and I haven't been able to be as active. The 3D print rookie. I feel like a rookie too. Hi, Dave. I messaged you on Instagram about one of your courses. I'm looking for your recommendation on your best Nomad course for 3D print sculpting. Um, hmm. Well, I mean, I don't really have any videos that are like dedicated to printing. I have videos that show like some of my process of printing, but it's one of those things where everything is going to be specific to whatever printer you have, and everything's going to be specific to whichever slicer you decide to use. So a lot of these things are strictly going to be preferential. So there's just going to be whatever you prefer. As far as Nomad goes, anything that you make in Nomad, you can send to the printer. Like you can send to the 3D printer. I do have videos showing like how to do keys and cuts, which is like how to print different parts and like make them fit together. But even that is going to be a lot of trial and error because like I do that a lot. Usually I have to print multiple types of things because it's not really just the printing of it, it's the machine and how exact the machine is. But then it's also how well you're sanding it. Like if you're sanding it, if you're priming it. So there's all these things that kind of are involved, and I never really felt that I was good enough to fully make like a tutorial or a class like just on printing because it's just so involved, and I'm not really that good at like I could get cool results, but I couldn't even explain like a lot of the intricacies of like 3D printers. Like some people are like, "Oh, raise the lift number," and they can like mess with all these numbers. No, I don't know any of that. But to make a long story short, if you could things that you could essentially like make out of clay, you can 3D print. And like Nomad is like good for that kind of thing. So like for example, obviously you're not gonna be able to 3D print hair and like things like that. But stylized hair that's like kind of like looks sculpted, like yeah, you can print that out. And I guess my only advice would be to if you're starting out, you can play around with printing things hollow. That usually has to do with the slicer. So essentially you just send whatever your Nomad sculpt is to a slicer. I used to use lychee slicer, but there's lots of different ones. And that really just makes the file into like a bunch of layers, and that's what prints. It just prints like a thousands and thousands of small layers. So that's all really a slicer is. You can change the size there and you can make it hollow, but if you make it hollow, you have to put holes in it so that the suction and so the resin comes out. It's a whole big thing, but I'm not that good enough at 3D printing to make videos, and plus now that I'm not printing anymore, yeah, I don't really have too many videos. But if you can check out my old ones if you want to see how what I used to do and things I used to make, if that's helpful. Carlos del Olmo. Yeah, I've been doing well with Blender. I've been doing really well with Blender, especially for there's a lot of things that I want to do in Nomad that are just like I get it now when people were like, "Oh, like that's much easier to do in Blender." That's kind of like a false statement. I get it that there are things that are much easier to do in Blender now, but the rub is that I had to go through hours and hours and hours to learn how Blender works and learn how those tools work, and then to learn all of the shortcuts and tips and tricks. So, I mean, I guess it's like any other complicated application. It takes a while to learn, but I've always hated how some people would just say, "Oh, like that's so much easier in Blender." When that's not if you're good at Blender, then yeah, it's a lot easier. But I don't know. I try not to I don't like just statements that only make sense from like one point of view. What's up, Han? Yeah, I've been doing these a little bit later on in the day. I always have like just so much stuff going on in the early morning, and plus like even late at night, I'm trying to get more sleep. So like I'm not trying to stay up super late. So usually if I have some time, my wife isn't home, so I have so I have a good hour that I can stream without interruption. And the cat's not even in here as well. The Saga of Blitz. Oh, is that a person? Oh, the Saga of Blitz. The Saga of Blitz. Maxwell Sharp. Blender feels like it's built as an engineering tool. Yes. I think I'm gonna make a shirt with that, because like I feel like I've been saying that so much the last month, especially when making that class. I've been saying that so much. Yeah, nodes. I would say that. Yeah, I remember when people were doing things with nodes, and I kind of gave up as well. But I'll show you. I'll show you a little bit. I don't know that much about nodes, but I can probably explain what's happening. And also, I'll try to make this quick. So the reason I stopped printing was because I really didn't have like enough space to be able to do the printing and things like that, and to also, it's not a good idea to have your 3D printer in your room where you also sleep. So my room is also like where my computer is. My bed is above me. So if it looks like I'm in like prison or something, I'm not. Like, it's just I don't know if you can see it actually. Can you see the bars? Maybe not. So I have like my bed above me, and I had my printer on the side of the room, but sometimes prints would take like 5 hours, 6 hours, if not longer. So then you just have like, I try to cover it up as much as possible, but you still get all that print, that resin air, like that resin fumes, is still going to be in the air. There's lots of cleaning with chemicals and rinsing with chemicals. So everything I was doing in my room, I was wearing, the proper like masks and things like that, but I'm not wearing it like the whole time I'm living in the space. So really just that. And also, not only that, it's like I had my airbrush station set up and all of the things that go with that. So really, I just kind of got too squeezed. I'll be able to really let loose and run wild when I get a house, and I'm able to do all that stuff, and I'm able to have enough space for it, and have the proper ventilation, and have like a separate place where I can really do my art. I'm looking forward to that, and I think that's going to be really insane when it happens. But as of right now, there's so many really important things happening in my life that it's also like not great to have toxic fumes floating around the apartment, if you know what I mean. And also, really quickly, nodes. So essentially, okay, so most programs you can like paint things and make things different colors, and you're kind of seeing like the surface. Nodes are kind of like the wires that happen like beneath the surface. So it's like, okay, here's like a background. I want to make it orange. So I could come over here to this nice little, actually, this doesn't even work. Let me find one that works. Okay, so like this little ring, it's like I can click on it, and it's like I have this nice little setup here that's like most programs. And it's like, okay, I want to change the base color. So I want to change it to, whatever this color is, or I want to change it. So you can do that. But essentially what nodes are is kind of the wires. So it's like the wires of what's happening underneath. So if there's something called a shader editor, and that's just where all the nodes are. So for example, anything that you touch is going to have these two nodes set up to each other, connected. So this is what you see. This is what we see. And this is like this box. And if I wanted to add things to it, and there's 1,000,001 things that you can add to it for all sorts of different reasons. Like if I wanted to manually make this look like rusted metal, then I would have to know all the nodes and do Shift A and add like, let's say I want to add like ambient occlusion. So I'd have to add ambient occlusion, add a color ramp like that, put that here, add a mix shader. And again, this is like the only set of nodes that like I really know well, like off the top of my head. But that being said, the thing about Blender is there's probably 10 ways to do what I'm doing here, and this probably isn't the most efficient way. But the only way to kind of get there is either if you come across a tutorial, if someone is like teaches you outright, or if you just get so good where you can figure things out on your own. But that's the thing with Blender is like nothing is like really intuitive. You would never be able to figure out nodes unless you watched a million videos and like kind of understood how Blender works. But if you have like a mind where you're like, oh, okay, I understand what a tangent is and what a texture coordinate is in regards to 3D, or I want to add a vector math, or I know what a float curve is, or I know what a Voronoi texture is, which I kind of know because I've used it in tutorials. But none of this stuff is intuitive. Like when they named this, they were like, we don't care what people that aren't Blender people that they're not gonna be able to figure out. That's fine. We'll make it a real difficult bar to entry. And that's the only way that I can kind of figure it out. Because like if I was making these, I'd be like, oh, this is like frog skin texture, or like whatever, magic texture. What the heck is magic texture? I have no idea. But anyway, so these are nodes, and you can do a bunch of stuff with nodes. They also have obviously these windows, which are a little more user friendly, but also add a diffuse. And again, these I just learned from tutorials. So I'm just gonna. So first, I know I bring the color to the factor, and you can see there's infinite ways that you can you have to know where one goes to the other. And it's just like insane. So I know I need to switch these two, and then I copy this. I usually copy this because if I want to go to something else where I want to do the same thing, I can just paste it and work from there rather than adding those nodes again. So there is also something about Blender where you do wind up doing the same thing multiple times, and Blender is all about shortcuts. Like it's all about not doing things more than you need to. So for example, if I needed to do that same setup for every material, which is like every color or texture, I could just copy and paste. But then someone who's really good would be like, that's too slow. Like you can just do this and it's fast. I have to go to the bathroom, so I will be right back. I'm just watching YouTube tutorial view on double speed. Gave this live a whole new vibe. That's funny. The 3D print rookie. Of course. No, I mean I really can't wait. I really would love to do more 3D specific things, and I had planned to do a 3D printing specific Skillshare course, but it all just got out of hand. Maxwell Sharp, I get it. You really have to watch tutorials to fully understand. Yes, but that's why I made also, and honestly, I'm not really trying to sell the Skillshare course here, but I think I might even have some Blender videos of me trying to figure out how to bring something from Nomad to Blender, which I think is useful for people that want to do that. But the reason why I made the specific Skillshare class is because Blender is just so difficult, and like it takes, and I wanted it to be like absolutely perfect. Like I didn't want to just have to like figure things out like I usually do, because for Blender there's really no room for that. Like you kind of have to be very precise and like dig into things. Even something as simple as like an absolute beginner course with Blender is already on hard difficulty. Like the level is already difficult. So there was a lot of editing. Like I would like go through, I would like film everything, and then edit everything, and then watch the edit, and like think to myself, okay, if I had no idea what I was talking about, would I be able to follow it along? Like, would it make sense? So that's kind of how I determine like a lot of things that go on Skillshare now, is when I take that extra time to like film 100 gigs of stuff and like hours of footage and then like edit it down and like rewatch it. That's the only way I make a living. So that's why I put it on Skillshare. But yeah, let me go to the bathroom. If you have any questions, I will answer them as soon as I get back. Try not to look at my messy room. It's really messy. This weekend we had a bunch of people in and out of the city, and everything got crazy. Be right back. Oh. Okay, so if I want to animate this, really what I want to use is keyframes and empties. How long have I been a 3D artist? Well, I tried to learn it in art school 20-something years ago. Hated it. And then I finally got into Nomad Sculpt, which is the first 3D stuff that I got really into and involved with and understood and knew how to do and had fun with. And that was 2021, I believe. It was the first time I discovered Nomad. I remember downloading Nomad and downloading, what was the other one? Oh, it was Valence. No, it wasn't Valence. Was it Valence? Whatever the Maxon one was. There was like a one by Maxon, I think. So I downloaded both of those and I was using them and I was like, Nomad, I was like, this feels like, reminds me of Procreate. This like feels so much better. So then I started doing Procreate and went nuts. So if I want to easily animate this, like let's say I want to flip it or make it move, of course you can set keyframes for each individual thing. So here you can see that I have like a keyframe at frame 1 for most of these things because I put a keyframe for everything. So all that means is I clicked on it, I went to item, I hovered over this, and I hit I. So that adds a keyframe. And again, this is the timeline that I'm using. So this is frame number 1. So let's say I want this whole thing to flip. So this piece, which is actually not the background. It kind of looks like it is, but let me figure out a way let me change the color. I like the orange background though. Right now this is the same color, but I'll make it a little darker just so you can see the difference. So let's say I wanted to all these things to like flip or rotate. So I would select all these things, but not the background. If I can figure out how to not select the background. Okay, so I would select all these things. Let's hide the background. And instead of like animating each thing, because that would just like not make too much sense, I'm just going to put it all in a glass box and then just animate the box. So all you see is this, when really it's like the box. So I'm going to hit Shift A and go to empty, and I'm just going to add a cube. So this cube is an empty. So it's really just like a cube, like there's nothing in it. But so essentially this is like the glass box. So I'm going to make it bigger, although it doesn't really, doesn't really matter how big you make it, to be honest. But it feels right. Okay, I'll hit S to resize it. Okay, so now we have all of our pieces in this empty. And I want to call this empty. I'm just going to call it empty for the sake of confusion. So again, I'm going to take all of these things and I'm going to hit Shift and click on the empty. So now these are like dark orange and this is light orange. So I'm going to parent. Control P, so I'm going to parent all of these things to the empty. So now over here you can just see the empty. So now I can just control all of these things just with controlling the empty. I don't need to like worry about those things because they're all together. So if I wanted to rotate it, like I just rotate the empty. Oh, that looks weird. And the back part looks weird. So if I wanted to rotate it, so now we're using the empty and we're just going to take rotation and we'll just hit I. I believe it's Z, but it doesn't matter. We'll just make a keyframe for all of them. So I pressed I made a keyframe there and we'll go to 40. And then for Z, I'll just put 360. So that's spinning all the way around. You can see that it's orange because it's not actually a keyframe until you hit I. Unless you press this tricky little button here, and then you can move it anywhere, and if you like do anything, it's going to automatically make a keyframe. So I'm going to undo. I guess I'll leave this on for now. So now if I play it, it just spins. And of course it's more confusing than that. So it's spinning. It looks good, but let's say you want to just spinning like a consistent length and not like kind of a slow start and a slow end. Then you can select them all, right click, interpolation mode, and then do linear. See, then it just spins more like a coin in a video game. And then it gets really weird. Like if you wanted to just keep spinning, then you have to like add a driver to the Z, which is like, I don't even remember how to do it. I had to do it for like wheels and things like that, or like propellers and things like that, but I'd have to look it up. You have to put like, oh, what is it? I can't remember. It's like a formula that you put and you can like kind of change the speed. But again, I have to look at a tutorial to enable to remember how to do it. And that's just the nature of Blender. Okay, so that's pretty good. I don't really need it to spin right now, so I'm just going to delete this last keyframe. And we'll just go back to frame 1. Let me bring the background back. I actually don't know really what I want to do for this like animation. I think I want to make some lights. I think I want to attach a light to, if I add a curve, if I add a circle, I can't even see where the circle is. Let me hit S and make it bigger. Oh, there it is. Okay, so I'm going to turn this off or else it's going to keep making keyframes, like which it's already done. It's annoying. I want to rotate it firstly, so I'm going to press 90 and rotate it like this because I think I want to put some lights on like to follow this. You know what I mean? Like, so you know how, like maybe if I zoom in and you see like a light, kind of the lights moving. I don't know. Just playing around for now. So this is going to be, we'll call it light path. And then I'm going to add a light. So we'll add a, do we want to add an area light or do we want to just add like a point light? Maybe we'll add an area light and make it more difficult. Light, path, light. Okay, I label them so they're next to each other, just so I don't get confused. Now, I want to try to go to constraints. Add object constraint. I think it's follow path. Follow curve. Okay, it's still in the middle, so so the target is the curve, is light path. Okay, so now you can see that it's like jumped to that path. And then I think I have to go to the curve and go to the curve options. And I have to set the frames. Like, this is another stupid thing. Like, why wouldn't you automatically just take however many frames are here and put them here? Like, why do I have to go and put 240? That's what I mean by dumb. There's probably a good reason. You can leave it in the comments if so. Okay, so 240. So if I move this, yeah, so now it's moving the light around, which is great. So that's the first thing that I wanted to do. Evaluation time. I don't know what I should put here. Because if I go like this, it's not going to do anything, is it? No. Okay, so there's 240 frames. Evaluation. I think if I put 240, maybe that will work. No. Oh, follow. Will that work now? No. 0, will that work now? No. I don't know. 240 frames. Oh, I know what I have to do. This is what it's actually like for me. I have to take this and then I'll move it to 100. And then I think I put 240. There we go. Okay, so now the only problem is the light is not pointing like at this, which is what I want. So I have to go back to the light. I could aim it at the empty. If I set another constraint, so I'm adding another constraint. Wait, is it track 2? I can't even remember. I think it's track 2. Okay, so up here we have the follow the path thing, and then we have track 2. I could make it like one of these things, but what I'm going to do is let's take the empty, Shift A. Actually, I'm going to right click and I want to snap the cursor to selected. So the cursor is kind of like, the cursor is a way to make the system like point to this one thing. So if I right click and set the cursor to the empty, it's going to go to the center of the empty, which I know is the center of like whatever I want animated. So I brought the cursor, which is usually like in the middle, like even in Nomad, like when you add a mesh, it goes to like the world origin. So in Blender, it's sort of the same thing, but the cursor is usually at the world origin. So if you want to make something go to a specific spot, you can bring the cursor there, and then you can make something go to a specific spot. So I want to add another empty, but I want it to be right in the middle of that. So I'm going to shift A. I'm going to add another empty, and let's make it do I want it to be a we'll just do plain axes. I'm going to hit S to make it big so we can see it. So we just made, instead of a box, we just made this weird liney snowflake thing. It's not really a snowflake. Okay, so this is going to be camera track point. That's just what I want to track the camera to. because or not the camera, the light. Sorry. I can also track the camera to it. Okay, so now the light is pointing that way, which doesn't make any sense. So we'll go to the track to, we'll do this, and we'll do camera track point. So now it's pointing to the light, which is pointing to our thingy here. I'm just going to set this. This looks dumb, the dark background, so I'm just going to put it back up to normal. What color is this? Is this all the way up? I'll put that all the way up too. Okay, so now you can see the light is kind of pointing more. Let's make it a little more interesting. Let's turn these lights off. Let's turn the world lighting down. That's where it gets interesting, right? Now you kind of see where I'm coming from. Now we of course can adjust this light. Let's make it a rectangle, and let's rectangle it out a bit. And let's make it 100. I might have to take this, and everything should follow it if I make this bigger. Cool, right? I mean, I think it's pretty cool. So of course, it's a little dark, but it's kind of cool. I guess I'm just going to keep repeating. It's kind of cool. Okay, so that works. The only thing is it's a little slow. So I might do something like that. Or I might slow it down also. So you can use a graph editor. So if I go here to the graph editor, I'm not great at the graph editor. It's actually really confusing to me. But here it is. So if I select these two things, wait, is that? How do I, oh, there's a way to view. I want to only view what I have selected. Frame selected. There we go. Okay, so I wish it would default to this view, because this view makes way more sense than the other view. So these are the 2 points. So these are the 2 things, and this is how it's going. So I think at the end, I want it to be a lot slower. So I think I just pull this way. And I think with this big curve, it'll be slower, and in the beginning, it'll probably be a bit faster. So let's see. Yeah, that's kind of cool. The only problem is now it's a little bit, I'm going to move this to 80, and then I'm going to do this more. I'm going to pull this out more. And I want the beginning, I don't want the beginning to be too fast. Okay, so it's just that's kind of cool. I'll make it a little faster. Something like that. And then something else that I might do is take the camera, and let's say 80 is the endpoint, where I actually like this endpoint. So I'm going to hit I for location. And then I will go back to the beginning, and we'll just, do I want to move it? Okay, so I'm using orthographic. So if I move it back, it's not going to do what I want it to do. I know it gets kind of confusing. Maybe I should use perspective. It changes like everything though. I have to like change everything. Well, I guess it's fine. Let me move it back. Okay, I like that. So now I'm going to go back to Oh, you know what I did? You know what happened is I forgot to lock in the keyframe. That's what just happened. So that's why it did that to me. So now I can go to the beginning and it should stay. And I'm just going to move this back a little bit and then set another keyframe. So now it should zoom in. What is this? What is happening here? This is a stupid view. I don't know what's going on in that view. I want it to look like this. So now it should zoom in a little bit and you have the light going. And then I might do some other things as well with this, but I think it's kind of cool so far. I'm going to save it incrementally. So it's not saving over what I had, but it's saving another version. Anyway, back to the questions. How much time do I have? 41 minutes, so I have about 18 minutes. I get this question a lot, my opinion on ZBrush. I've never used it. I have no idea how to use it, and I've never used it, so I really have no opinion other than like what I hear people say, that ZBrush is not a very fun app to learn or use, but I have no idea. Petit chou. Sorry. I can't help it but to do my really bad French dialect. But hello from Brooklyn. Welcome. Tasha Cobb, what's up? What up, bro? How's it going? Hope everyone is doing well. I'm okay. Thank you. I appreciate the kind words. I'm all right. I'm still learning. Okay, so I think I like... that. I think I want the lights to... Oh, maybe I want it to dim though. Maybe instead of like... Oh, I don't know. I like it, but I don't know if I want to just keep it orange for now. I could do something like this, and then the lights come up around 50. So maybe this light... So it's at 300, so maybe I put it to 0 now. I'm going to turn this on so I don't miss keyframes. I'm going to put this to 90 and then put this back to 300. Okay, so let me see. So it looks like this needs to be moved up. Oh, and one thing is, you can tell that I love making like little intros. I have so many video intros. If I could spend all my time making intros, I might do it. Ooh, that's nice. That's real nice. But you know what else would be nice? If the light took a little more time to land. So maybe we'll put this on 80 and see. Kind of like it, but I still want this to be a slower... Actually, I don't know how to make it like slower. Yeah, like I want that to be even slower. I don't want to go too high up. I wonder if I change interpolation mode. Handle type. I don't know what it's on now, so I'm actually I probably just shouldn't mess with it. Because sometimes you can mess with things in Blender and you'll never be able to figure out how to get them back to where they were, no matter how much you look online. I like that, but I think I like this light, but I feel like it would be cooler if maybe the light like opened up. I actually don't even know if that's possible. So which direction is left and right? Oh, looks like I'm on the background. Oh, that's the right one. Okay, so it's this one. So let's say I'm going to set a keyframe. Right now it's 14.7, so we'll just say 15. I'll put 0 for that one. And then, whoa. What happened? Okay, so maybe I'll just put 1. Okay, and for this I'll put 15. Okay, I like that, but it can take even longer to open up. Okay, I kind of like that. I think I kind of liked it how it was, so I'll just leave it. Okay, so that's kind of cool. So it still needs to get brighter, so I'm going to go to the world. I'm going to set a keyframe here. Oh, do I want it there, though? Maybe I'll start on 60 and add a... I guess you can't see those keyframes. And then on 90, I'll bring this up to... maybe something like this. Kind of cool. Okay, and another thing is, so this is all keyframe. This is all keyframe animations. But it's obviously got to be small. Wait, what is show? Small. Show. I don't know what show is. What is the picture? I can't tell what the picture is. It looks like a little brown character with his little pink tongue sticking out, but I can't quite see what it is. Then maybe that will help. My 8th grade French class. What was I doing? Oh, so this green. Let me make sure I'm on the right one. Okay. So when it gets lighter, when it starts to get lighter, I think I want, so we'll do it at 50. I'm going to set a keyframe for the base color. Excuse me. I'm going to set a keyframe for the strength of the emission. The emission is the reason why it's glowing. So then if I go to 90, or maybe let's make it 80, I'm going to put this down to 0. So there's no emission, essentially. And I want to change the base color to something that looks a little bit more like, it's so dark, a little bit more like my actual logo. So let's change the base color to It's not that saturated. I have to like try and think about what color it was. Or it is, I should say. It's just like it's very desaturated. I think it's darker though. I think that could work. What is value? Oh, the value is the lightness. Okay, so something like that I think looks nice. So I think that could work. So the glow turns into not glowing, which I like. But it's also not bright enough in here. The room is too dark. So I need another light. So there's an edge light, which we can leave off. Skylight. You know, a point light may be good too. Okay, so let's look at this point light. And let's just figure out where... Okay, this light is kind of just in the middle. And I don't really need these. Oh, that's fine. So let's make it... Let's see what it looks like. Oh, it looks kind of weird though. Straight on. Oh, I kind of like if the light kind of like goes up and down. That's kind of cool, I think. So we'll do it at 90, and then we'll bring it to 110, and maybe we'll move it down. That looks dumb. Yeah, that looks dumb. Okay, so we'll just use it to maybe add some light. So I'm just gonna delete these. Delete this one as well. I'm gonna turn this off so it stops giving me keyframes. And just try to find a spot where it looks nice. We'll make this bigger. We'll make this 1,000. Okay. Okay, that kind of works. Oh, but then now it's still... So maybe around 75. It's at 0. We'll make a keyframe, and then maybe around 100 is where it's at 1,000. And this is kind of a warm light, so maybe I'll just take the saturation out of it. Oh wait, I did not do the keyframe. There we go. I'm going to go back and just take the warmth out of this as well. Oh, I did it. Okay. I feel like this light happens too soon. Oh, so now you're seeing like when I'm like completely lost in working on something, I'm like this for hours. Only usually I'm not recording myself. Shoe. Like a shoe pastry. I did watch the Great British Baking Show. I'm getting too much enjoyment from that. Okay, so I think I want to make what did I say? Oh, I said that this was happening too soon. Right, so let me take this and just move it down. I'll move it down the timeline a bit and see if that feels better. And then I want to take this. I don't really want the edges to come like in the, I don't know why I'm pointing, like you can see me point at the screen. The edges there is bootleg. So I'm going to hit S, and I think I want to bring it out. So in doing that, maybe I want to make it actually brighter. Make the light brighter. So let's do 400 instead of 100. Oh, and also, why can't I see the... Oh, that's right. So I want to take this, and I think I want it to happen sooner. I think it would be cool if you just see the glowing thing first before this light starts moving. So I think if I'm using this, I think if I slide this down, that should be exactly what I need, I believe. Okay, that felt better. But the only problem is now the light is continuously lit here. So this is going to be, I need to be on the light now. So I need to go back to the light, put a keyframe for 400. Go to the beginning and put a keyframe for 0. Okay, I kind of like that, but maybe it's like already moving by the time it's like... Timing is a little tricky. Timing is important. I'll make it a little bit bigger so you can see what's happening. That's kind of cool. I can always edit it to make it everything happen a bit faster. And also, how much time do I have? Oh, 58 minutes. The only other thing that would be cool in the beginning is to add another light and fake more of this green light coming out. I gotta hop off in 50. I have to hop off pretty quickly, actually. So I just want to fake this green light and maybe put this at 100, maybe? That might be too bright. We'll put it at 20. Maybe we'll put it at 15. And we're getting too much ambient occlusion, I think, here. But anyway, we'll put it at 15, and then by the time it gets to here, we can put it at 0. All right, 59 seconds. So yeah, thanks so much all you guys for checking out the stream. I don't know what this is going to be, but it's going to be something, and you're going to see it on the front of my videos soon. Keep drawing, keep sculpting. I'll see you all in the next video. Now I got to figure out how to end this stream before it gets to 6.